that the promise given to the people of Ghana in the 1992 Constitution is met. That's all that we're doing.
But there's that school that says that the problem is not really about the Constitution, and that it's bad people that are making a good Constitution bad.
Yeah, bad people make good constitutions bad. And they do that because the framework that will secure that bad people behave in a certain way is not provided. And that's why you are told that constitutions are just the bones. Okay? Now, we must make sure that the framework itself is saying that don't give bad people an opportunity to thrive. Okay? And then we can give you numerous examples. For instance, how can we as a people have an institution of state, the Bank of Ghana, whose actions moves 1 million people into poverty? How can we have that? What checks do we put in place to ensure that that never happens? We have been in Parliament for so long that we know that by the principle of separation of powers, Parliament, whether minority or majority, have to hold government accountable. The executive brings a policy, which policy is being debated on the floor of the House. But a member of Parliament wishing to catch the eye of the executive, the president, will see nothing wrong with the policy, will hear nothing wrong with the policy, and will talk nothing about the policy. Is that what we want as a people? That is why we think that we must give vent, a meaning, to the principle of separation of powers.
For you, what is the place of the CRCC's work, the Claraberry report, in the whole project going forward? Because you have been from day one, the very first day that the ministry invited people, Professor Abochi, I remember I was there myself.
Yes.
So, you know, you were there, Haruna Idrisu, and the debate began about the fact that you can't do a process without recourse to the CRC's work. That's Professor Fiajo's work. You have been part of it from that very beginning to the end. What should be the place of this report going forward?
Your question has been answered by Clarity. We said that we don't need to reinvent anything. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President-elect, has also spoken about it. That we have been caught by time. The CRC report has been caught by time. There are many things that will have to be reinterpreted in the context of the times in which we are. Clarity's committee appreciated that fact and took the Fiajo's report and looked at it, which were the low-hanging fruits. You heard the talk about priorities. Mm-hmm. What can we achieve? We realize that the enormity of the tax, as spelled out by the Constitution Review Committee, is said that we cannot, if we mean to go by that alone, we might not be able to achieve our desired goals of amending the Constitution. What is it that we can tweak, amend in the Constitution that will still deliver to us the promise of the Constitution, but within the limited time that we have for ourselves? And that is why the Hair Committee went at length to identify what can be done and how it can be done. The Constitution Review Committee, the missus, was that they had lumped a lot of, and that was why the first committee,
Sophia Joe?
Sophia Kufu.
Okay, Gloria
Kufu's committee. That was what they came out with. They said, look, the committee that was set up, the Constitution Review Implementation Committee, suggested that we lump all the entrenched
56
draft
amendment bills for the non-entrenched provisions.
Yeah.
And there were also 41 draft amendment bills for the entrenched provisions.
Now, they thought, no, if you did that and lump them, you will have problems. You will not give the people what democracies are known to give to the people: liberty, choice. What do they want? If you lump them, you rob them of that. That's log rolling. I mean, bringing them together as one.
And that argument has been long-standing. I remember one of the IDEG meetings.
Yes.
After the report was submitted, Chairman Sabuns was there at that meeting, and the major concern they raised, I remember Professor
Kwashiga
and Atupari made a presentation.
Yes.
And this was the biggest issue. Whether you lump the amendments up, how are people going to vote? And Professor Kukwasa was also concerned about that as well.
So that is why, attempts have been made to say that, look, when we are dealing with the entrenched provisions, we must give the people the power of choice, as known in democracies.
All right.
And that also brings into question, what do we do? Do we constitute the parliament, when it's reconvened, as a consultative assembly to look at all the provisions, come out with, because people, they're going to submit draft bills. Look at the draft bills before they go. We cannot assume that what the committee has done and what bills will be submitted to Parliament for the consideration of both the Speaker of Parliament and the Council of State will be the bills that were presented to the people to vote on. There will be processes. Okay. But let's say that the processes start when we all agree, including our leaders, the flag bearer, not flag bearer, President-elect now agrees that we need to move this process forward.
He said that already.
How do we move? How do we move it forward? There would need to be a committee, just like the Constitution Review Implementation Committee. There need to be a committee of that nature. And the committee of that nature will spell out how they intend to engage the people to build broad consensus. Mind you, we are trying to look at the framework of government, right, and it must concern everybody.
And that should be part of the legacy that President Mahama would have to leave. You remember in the last two election campaigns, he has been blamed by his opponents, the NPP, that he sat by and did nothing